One of the key things is the push towards EV. The government of India wants them to be kind of dominant by 2030. Some things have happened, but what's your own sense about the EV ecosystem in India that's evolving? And we have this chatter that keeps coming up about Tesla.
So the EV ecosystem will develop very rapidly in India. It starts with incentives. I think we have the right set of incentives. It's then the product set, because there has to be a very exciting set of products around EV. And we are developing on a Born Electric platform 5 new SUVs, which are truly exciting. I've driven 3 of them, and it's really going to change the game. So once that comes in, you start seeing greater focus on infrastructure, because you do need to have cars on the road to have infrastructure there. And we feel that we should be at about 30% of our production being EVs in the next 3 years by F27. And by F30, we want to make 1 million EVs in India, for India and for the rest of the world.
What, according to you, can be done to step up the speed of adoption of electric vehicles? I, for example, bought an EV recently, and then I discovered there was lots of local regulatory permissions about not being able to set up a charging station in the basement, and authorities hadn't given permission because one vehicle apparently caught fire somewhere in Mumbai, and then you can't set up these EV charging stations in the basements. How do we push in the right direction but do faster and with greater purpose than we're seeing right now?
I think we've got to do it well also, because safety is the most important aspect. And as we're building our cars, that's one thing we're making sure is that the battery chemistry, how the protection is set up for the batteries, ensures a very safe car, because we can't afford to take a step forward and 2 steps back. So in some ways, I'd say that we've got to do it the right way. Yes, there is work that's required from manufacturers, from regulators, but I feel it's happening at the speed that it needs to.
What will win, a pure electric future or a hybrid future? Because different automakers have different views on this. I want to hear your views on that.
So let me just share the facts. If you look at countries around the world, hybrids came in 2000, and they were effectively for CAFE norms in those countries. None of those countries provided incentives for hybrids, and that is essentially because hybrid is a short-term solution. You got 2 powertrains in the car. You got an electric powertrain and you got a combustion engine powertrain. That's not an efficient solution.
Adds to the cost.
Right? Why does it work? Because if you don't need charging stations. But if to set up a strong EV infrastructure, you need to be all in on EV. You need to be able to invest there, get the cars on the road. We had a choice to make 2 years ago. We've got hybrid technology. And our choice was, let's have a couple of hybrids and a couple of EVs. And the choice we took is that that does not work, because you need to go all in on EV, deliver a very high number of electric vehicles. That creates a charging infrastructure, and that creates a future we want, because the future has to be around electric. That's going to be a much more efficient future. Hybrids are fuel efficient by only about 10%. Emissions are the same. It's really no difference in emissions. So from that perspective, EV has to be the future.